We are going to do for you a couple of plays by Jan Brett. They're from the books The Hat and The Mitten. The kindergartners are primarily doing the Mitten, and the first graders The Hat, but we've had a little bit of crossing over. We needed some help from other classes, so you'll be seeing your children possibly in both of those. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow.
Would you like yellow? Would you like blue? Would you like red?
At first, his grandmother Baba did not want to knit white mittens.
If you drop them in the snow, you'll never find it again.
Nicky wanted snow white mittens so badly that finally Baba agreed to make them. After she finished, she said,
If you drop one in the snow, you'll never find it again.
When you come home,
When you come home, we'll check to see if you are safe and sound and if you have both of your snow white mittens.
So off went Nicky, and it wasn't long until he dropped one of his new mittens in the snow.
Hey, Miss Meredith, I forgot to give him his clothes.
He dropped a mitten in the snow.
You forgot to say when she was sleeping.
The stage is dark. As the day went on, a mole, who was tired from tumbling along, discovered the mitten and decided to burrow inside. It was so cozy and warm and just the right size, and so she decided to stay. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. She stopped for a moment to admire her winter coat, and it was then that she saw the mitten, and she wiggled in feet first. Now the mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he spied the mitten and decided to move in and warm himself. Now the mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by all the commotion, swooped down. And when he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. Now up through the snow appeared a badger. The badger crawled along and eyed the mitten. He began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. And then it started snowing. It snowed and snowed and snowed and snowed. But the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. So the fox poked his muzzle in here and there. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up, and not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was bulged and pulled to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse. It was no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. The bear, who was tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. later that day, Mickey saw a white shape in the distance. It looked like the lost mitten, silhouetted against the sky. As he ran to catch the snow white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens.